Hello friends, my name is Mohsin Mullah and I welcome you all to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to see about the economic operation with large number of units operating in a plant. So in the previous video lecture, we had seen, so when there are two units operating in a plant, then what is the condition for economic operation of the power plant? So with the complete analysis, we had obtained that the condition for economic operation of the plant with the two units is when the incremental cost of one unit is equal to the incremental cost of the second unit. It means that the incremental cost for both the units should be equal, then the overall operation of the plant will be economic. So now continuing with the same discussion, now let us consider a plant with the multiple units. So here a large number of units can be considered. Suppose there is a very big plant, okay, so power plant which is having a large number of units operating in it. Say here unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, so on up to unit M. So might be 5 to 6 units are operating here. So we can just take this as 4, so on up to M. So we can say that there are certain number of units operating in the power plant. Okay. So now we have to obtain condition at which the this particular plant is going to be operating with the economy. So there will be a economic operation. So condition for economic operation of this plant. Okay. So now here obviously whatever maximum demand will come, okay, so whatever load will come, so though that load needs to be applied on this power plant, or that load needs to be supplied by the power plant. So in that case, to supply the load, so the power plant has to select or you can say allocate the load to different units of the power plant. Okay, so it has to allocate the incoming load on units of the power plant. Then only you can say the power plant is going to operate at economical condition, and also it will be able to supply to the whatever load demand is coming at that particular instant of the time. It is basically time dependent, so load is going to change for time to time. So as per that time, so it has to be means basically the here load dispatcher or that distribution engineer has to prepare a schedule of that dispatch. So according to the demand incoming, so he has to prepare that schedule and allocate the load to different units of the power plant. Okay, so now let us try to obtain the condition for different units operating in a power plant here. Okay, so for a plant with M, let us say that the total number of units are M units. So for a plant, so let me just make the view as ruled. Okay, so for a plant with M generating units that is P equal to P1 plus, so each of the plant is going to generate powers. So that let me just indicate that power. See here it is going to produce P1, here it is going to produce P2, P3 and so on as Pm. Okay, P1 plus P2 plus so on up to Pm. Okay, so this can be written in the form of a summation. So we can write the summation n equal to 1 to m Pn. Okay, so when you substitute the value of n here, you are going to get the same expression as we have written in this form here, summation. Okay, so now similarly for the generating that amount of power, it needs to have fuel cost. So let me just indicate the total fuel cost of m units given by C equal to, so let us understand that C indicates here the fuel cost as we have used it earlier also. So C1 plus C2 plus so on plus Cm for mth unit. Then it can also be represented in the form of a summation. So just by taking the summation between n equal to 1 to m and here Cn. So let us indicate this as the second equation. Since the total load is a constant, so the load is not going to change, the total load is constant. Therefore, if you take the overall differentiation of that total load, so it is going to remain equal to 0. So therefore, we can write, since the total load is constant, therefore we can write total load, differentiation of the total load dp, it has to remain equal to 0 because p is constant. So therefore dp can be written in terms of their individual units differentiation also, like I can write here by referring to the equation 1, differentiation of p1 plus differentiation of p2 plus differentiation of so on up to pm will be equal to 0, or we can rewrite this equation as dp1 will be equal to what, minus dp2 minus dp3 so on minus dpm. Okay, so let me indicate this equation as equation number 3. Okay, just by taking all the other term except for dp1 to the right hand side, we can arrive at that equation number 3. Okay, so now let us write some lines for this. Since the input or cost of any operating unit depends only on the output of that unit, the total cost would be minimum only when. Okay, so let me just write these lines first. Since the input or cost of any generating unit, since the input or cost of any generating unit depends only on the output of that, depends only on the output of that unit, the total cost would be minimum when dc by dpn is equal to 0. So dc is nothing but the, so dc by dpn equal to 0. So referring to the equation 2, we can try to get that expression dc by dpn that indicates dc by dpn is nothing but, we have that total summation. So let me just write in terms of summation only, summation n equal to 1 to m, so dcn by dpn. Okay, and this is going to be 0. So therefore we can try to write only in terms of dc, or dc equal to summation of dcn by dpn n equal to 1 to m into, by taking dpn here, into dpn equal to 0. Okay, so or also we can try to obtain another equation in terms of the input of that plant 1. So dc1 by dp1 into dp1 plus n equal to 2 2, so remaining terms will be starting from n equal to 2, so that time it will be dcn by dpn again into dpn. So here this will be again equal to 0. So let me just indicate this equation number 4. So what is done here? So in this expression here, summation is starting from 1 to m. So here what is done here? So first one unit is separated here. So that first unit is separated by taking n equal to 1 value. So n equal to 1 is dc1 by dp1 into dp1, and remaining terms are written as a summation again. Okay, so now we have dp1 also expressed earlier in equation number 3 here. So let us just substitute the dp1 here. So from equation 3, substituting for dp1 in equation 4, we get dc1 by dp1 minus dp2 minus dp3 minus so on up to minus dpm plus n equal to 2 to m dcn by dpn into dpn, and that equal to 0. Okay, so now this can be written in the form of a summation. So therefore let me just try to represent this entire expression in the form of a summation here. So that by taking negative outside, so I can write this as dc1 by dp1 into dpn. Okay, so here we can write n equal to 2 to m. So dc1 by dp1 is a constant, so 2 3 so on up to m can be obtained with the help of this summation 2 equal to n equal to 2 to m, and negative sign is kept outside, so we can write it like this. And the remaining term is n equals to 2 to m dcn by dpn into dpn equal to 0. Okay, or we can write by combining the two summations as the range is same. So summation between n equals to 2 to m. So first term is positive, so dcn by dpn into dp, total dpn will take common, so let us not write here, minus the other term is dc1 by dp1 into dpn equal to 0. So this is equation number 5. So now this is the final equation that we can obtain here by simplification. So now this equation should be equal to 0, then only we'll get the economic operation. Okay, so now when this equation is going to be 0, when the overall summation is going to be 0 and dpn is also going to be 0. So let us say the above equation is satisfied when dc1 by dp1 is equal to dcn by dpn. Or what we mean by that? So dc1 by dp1 will be equal to, so n can be 2 to any term up to m, so here it can be equal to dc2 by dp2, or it can also be equal to dc3 by dp3, or so on, it can be equal to dpm by dcm by dpm. And this particular expression will give us the new term called as lambda, which is called as the incremental rate cost. So let us write the conclusion here, what we have got from this. So that is for optimum economy, so you can observe from the expression here that So the incremental cost of each of the generating unit is should be equal to the other units incremental cost. That means all the units should operate at the same incremental cost for economic operation. So for optimum economy, every operating unit, for optimum economy, every generating unit should operate at the same incremental rate, same incremental rate or cost. I'll write it as incremental cost. Okay, that lambda represents the incremental cost. Lambda is called as incremental cost. In rupees per megawatt hour. Okay, so that is what it is. Fine. So now what we understand from this analysis of with large number of units is that, so if there are m number of units, generating units available in a plant, so the when the at a particular time demand comes up, so it should be made sure that all the units are operated at the same incremental rate. So we have to try to express this in terms of graph so that we can understand what exactly it is. So let me just try to draw a graph for this, so the things will be more clear here. Okay, so suppose there is a input output curve, and here output is obviously the generating output in terms of megawatt, and the input here is, let me just indicate this as incremental cost. Incremental cost in terms of, sorry, I'll just write this in rupees per megawatt hour. Okay, so this is the input here, and what is output here? Output is power output in megawatt. Okay, so now as we said that there are m number of units in operating in the plant, so therefore, so let us try to show graphs for all the m units here. So let me try to indicate the first graph is having, because each of the unit is going to have its individual minimum value, maximum value, and a curve in between those 2 points. So this is the curve for, say, first, let me just draw it little bit. Okay, so this is the curve for first unit. Okay, so similarly let me show one curve for the second unit, and this is the, say, almost linear looking curve for second unit. Similarly we have a curve for the third unit, which is like this. Then suppose we have a curve for fourth unit. This is for the third unit. Fourth unit, which is increasing like this, and likewise. So totally finally we're gonna have m number of curves. So let us say we have a another curve which is m for mth unit. Okay, so this is the curve for mth unit. So now here we are saying that it should be operated at the equal incremental load, incremental cost. So therefore here we have to have a line that will intersect with all of these curves, so that line will be deciding the incremental cost. Suppose if the demand is some say some particular megawatt, so in that case, so all the units are operated at a particular incremental cost. Say this is the incremental cost here. So this is the incremental cost that we are going to select, which is nothing but lambda, okay, at this particular value. So now each of the plant is going to generate accordingly. If it is operated at the same incremental cost, their output powers are going to be different depending upon their capacities, okay. So here, so this power is P1 and this power is P2. Here this power is P4 and this is for the curve 3, so it is P3. This is for the mth curve, okay. So now here all the units are operated at the same incremental cost. So by adding this time sum of all the powers generated, so that particular demand at a time will be met by this overall plant, okay. So this is the graphical representation of economic dispatch of M generating units. So this particular figure represents what? Graphical interpretation of economic dispatch of M generating units. Okay, so here the load allocation among several generating units can be found by preparing operating schedule for different values of lambda. So here in the graph only one particular value is taken, but it is so happen that the different values of lambda can be considered here. Okay, suppose this is one more you can say lambda value. Okay, so here say this is the new lambda 1. So here you can see if this is the lambda value to be selected. Now in that case one of the unit is first unit, precisely the first unit is not at having its minimum point of generating the required power. So therefore this unit cannot be operated at that incremental cost. Therefore that unit has to be excluded and the remaining units will be supplied, or you can say remaining units will be loaded with the total demand required here, okay. So accordingly here different units are going to meet the required demand here, okay. So sometimes it may so happen that the units will reach to their maximum capacity of generating, okay. So for a particular incremental load, the unit, some of the units, one or several units may reach to their maximum capability of generation. In that case, so after that remaining units should be operated at the equal incremental cost. So only the in those units which are not able to generate at that incremental cost are allowed to generate at lower incremental cost, and the means some different incremental cost, and the other generating units will be allowed to generate at the equal incremental cost. So that you can say management has to be done by the load dispatcher, continuously monitoring the incoming load demand as well as the capabilities of the generating units, because those generating units will be coming up with the specific capacities, minimum value as well as maximum value. It may so happen that so at a particular incremental cost, some of the units before working they will attain their constraints of minimum and maximum output. Therefore they will not be able to operate at that particular incremental costs, okay. So that needs to be taken care. And also here we can observe from this particular graphical representation is that so different curves are having different type of shape. So we can say that the incremental costs are usually non-linear functions of the output. So these are not linear, they are completely non-linear functions of the output. So conversion of these non-linear functions into linear functions is possible without a loss of much accuracy, and the operating schedule can be had analytically. So here, first of all, in order to obtain linearized, because these are highly non-linear, so we have to obtain linearized functions of or curves of these particular generating units. Then based on that generating those curves, so operating schedule can be prepared. Okay, so which will be almost say accurate operating schedule that can be obtained. But for this we definitely need to go for digital techniques. It cannot be done simply by regular methods. We have to follow digital techniques in order to obtain the accurate that load scheduling or operating schedule of the total power plant. Okay, so far what we had obtained, so in essence, so what you need to remember is that for the economic operation of a plant operating with multiple units, so the economic condition is again that the incremental cost of all the units must be equal. So for that we had taken that condition of differentiation as the power is constant. So continuing with that concept and substituting different expressions here, we had arrived at the expression of that incremental cost, and that incremental cost expression is this lambda, and this lambda you need to remember here, because this is going to be very important in all other concepts that we are going to consider in the upcoming video lectures. Okay, so this is incremental cost, as well as you need to understand that the how the allocation of load is done if the different constraints are available on the different generating units of the plant. Okay, so with the graphical uh, representation here, so we have also tried to understand that concept. Okay, so in this video lecture that's it. So in the upcoming video lecture we are going to see when we include the transmission loss also, so in the calculation of economic operations, so what all things we need to consider in that case. Okay, so till then, happy learning and stay safe, stay at home. Thank you.